Hello, everyone. It is Friday. Yes, it's Friday, February 17th, 2023. Instead of being a whole week late from a Wednesday video, I am 2 days late. Well, I shouldn't even say that I'm late. I have said that I'm going to be kind of bouncing around during the week and at least get one video in per week. I'm not sure which day because things are starting to speed up around here. I don't know. We're in New England. I am in Rhode Island, and we have been having the most wonderful February. Warm temperatures, a lot of gray days, but we don't care because the temperatures are high. Right now, the temperature is, let's see, where's my weather? 52 degrees and drizzly. Wonderful. 52 degrees on the 17th of February is quite spectacular. So anyway, I think we all have spring fever, and I've been doing a lot of things and getting out more, and I'm full of threads because I've been stitching things. And anyhow, let's get on with the video. This is a retirement video, just keeping everybody aware of what I do in my retirement. And you can compare it to yours or help you plan for yours. If you are planning retirement, I just have to tell you one thing. You don't have as much time as you think you're going to have. Or time means a different thing to you once you're retired because you think you have a lot and you really don't because there's so much to do. So anyhow, the first thing on the agenda is dun, da, 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 fanfare, Thrummed Mittens finished. They're still a little fuzzy. I didn't trim. They do get kind of fuzzy, but no, they're not. You only make one mitten twice. There's not a left and a right. You just put them on and have them. I'm so happy these are done. And my husband didn't have a snowstorm since I started them. They were supposed to be for Christmas. And I only started them after Christmas because I was late making Grinches and things like that. So these thrums came later, but we didn't have any snowstorms. I had let him have my thrums that I had made for myself. I gave him those. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. And they're kind of like a gradient rainbow, but he doesn't care because he's colorblind. He doesn't care what he wears, you know? So I decided when I went to a show last year to get some roving so that I could make him a nice masculine looking pair. So that's what these are. These are the thrums for Dennis. They're done. He loves them. He let me keep them to show you today. So those are done. Now, in all this time that I've been doing the thrums since Christmas, I never told you which pattern I was using. I don't think. I'm using it's titled Thrummed Mittens, and it's by Louise Robert, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And as always, I will link. If it's a free pattern, I'm going to link to it. So I'll have the link in the description box below. Pattern looks like that. Shows you a nice picture of the thrums. And this pattern is nice because on one side of one page, it shows you how to prepare the roving to make a thrum. And then on the other side of one of the pages, it shows you how to thrum. You knit into the stitch below your next stitch. So you take your right needle and stick it in below the stitch that's on your left needle, and you pull the thrum through, and it's on your needle. Then you knit the stitch that's on your left needle, and after you knit the stitch and take it off the needle, you take the thrum and pull it over the stitch, just like you would if you were binding off a stitch. You knit the stitch and then wrap it over and then continue. Very simple, very easy. Great instructions, nice pattern. It goes quick once you get used to thrumming. Oh, by the second mitten, you're a pro. That's why you should probably plan on doing 2 pair, because you can go pretty quick once you've gotten the first one done. And it's worsted weight and roving. All right, so that's it for the Thrummed Mittens. I'm in the middle of a bag. I'm not going to show you that because It's not finished, and it's kind of crazy to show you that. Let me show you another pair of Thrummed Mittens while I'm on the subject. This is the type of mitten I had made. I'll also link to this, although I don't know if this is a free pattern. But the yarn here is, I think it's Plymouth yarn, and I think the name of the yarn is Galway. And I think it is, paper clips are flying. The yarn is a gradient like that. So if you look for a gradient yarn, it makes a nice pair of mittens. And she has dark colored roving for her thrums. So that's the other. I don't know if that one's free. If it's free, I'll link. If it's not free, I won't link to it, because you could always use that gradient yarn and use the other pattern, because it's, worsted weight is worsted weight. What's next on the agenda? Oh, I went on a road trip with my quilty friend Paula yesterday. We went up to Natick, to the fabric place basement, and looked around. Mostly we were window shopping, because neither one of us needs to buy any fabric at this point in time. But we wanted to get out and take a ride, and the weather's been fantastic, as I said, so we went up there. And then after that, we went from Natick west. I don't remember. I'm directionally challenged. And we went to Auburn, Mass, where they have what they call it is the $2.99 fabric store. It used to be called the $1.99 fabric store until the fabric became $2.99 a yard. After they waited about a year, they changed the name to $2.99 a yard. But now the fabric is $4.99 a yard. The store still says the $2.99 a yard fabric store, but when you get in, there's a sign that says as of January 1st, the quilting cotton is now $4.99 a yard. It's still a good deal. It's still a good deal, because all the quilting cotton everywhere went up. But what we went to buy were placemats. They have placemats that are $1 each. And there's a lady on YouTube that shows you how to make zippered bags out of placemats. And the whole reasoning behind that is the idea that you do not have to line them. And if you have a serger machine, it's even better, because you're not having to finish the insides or anything. So we got some placemats to make some bags. I didn't make one yet, but I got one going, and it's kind of cool, because I've kind of I've made a change to the pattern that her name is Laura Nemaker, something like that. I'll link. So she has a name that I'm not familiar with, so I don't remember it. Nemaker or Nemaker, I think. Is it Laura? Anyhow, I'll link to that, because they're really cool bags. All right, what else is going on? I am working on all my quilts. Like the soap opera, all my children. I could have a soap opera, all my quilts. I showed you that quilt last week that I wasn't very happy with. And I think the problem is that the value of the blues were too all over the place. I had blues, off-whites, and tans, but there were too many different value blues. So it made me not happy. So I took the quilt apart, but I didn't take it apart block by block by block. I took out blocks here and there, hunt and pecked, jibs and jabs. So I took out all the blocks that had this value. They're going to look stringy because I haven't cleaned all the threads off all of them yet. This value is good, but the light blues were throwing everything off. So I made these over to be this. I stuck with the off-white and kept the dark blue, because I think that's what I need to make me happy with the quilt. Then also there were these blocks, which again, the blue was not the right value. It should have been darker. And this, I think there was too much of this tan in the quilt. So I took all of these out and I made over these. Again, same, oh, I want the lines to go up and down. Same rationale. This is a dark blue value and the off-white. I'm trying to keep it more to that. These I took out. I almost changed them because this wasn't exactly off-white, but I do have a little bit of white and off-white, which I never do that in a project. But in this project, I think it's okay because I left this in and I liked it because the value of the blue in this is mostly dark. There's a lot of light in there, but that's not what you see. You see the dark, and these two were dark. So anywhere these were in the quilt, these were okay. But so I took these out, even though they were okay, because they were near others that had to be removed. And they, if I removed too many blocks, I didn't leave them hanging. These, I didn't bring the blocks that these replaced. They were a light blue and another light blue. One was darker than the other, so there was a contrast for the block, but it did no justice to the quilt. So that one's changed. You're starting to see what I did, right? Oddly enough, these, the square and a square, no, it's not a, yeah, it's a square and a square, or a diamond, a diamond and a square. These were okay, because this tan was light enough for my eye, and the blue was dark enough, and this was the dark blue. And the reason these were okay is because, did I bring those others? I didn't bring the others. I also have this square and a square where this is the color in the center, and I think the and this might be, and it might be reversed, and it looks good, so I saved these. Again, those had to get removed in order to fit, and these were okay, but these had to get removed in order for the quilt to kind of stay together. So that's what I've been doing. I've been redoing quilts, making bags, knitting. Now that the thrums are done, I'm finishing up those alpine socks that I showed you before. I'd only had one done. Now I'm halfway through the second, so that'll be finished soon. A couple of movies worth, and that'll be done. What else? I had a couple of meetings this week, one for the Quilt Guild and one for the Knitting Guild, and they were great meetings. Things are going along well in both guilds, and we're getting going. We're gaining momentum in the Knitting Guild. We now have a permanent place in the Pawtucket Library. We've had a December, January, and February meeting. We've settled on a name. We are now the Hook and Needle Guild of Greater Providence. We're happy about that because now we can go full steam ahead on our social media. We had a different name previously, and we don't have the password to any of our Facebook or Instagram or Ravelry sites. We can't get in under the old name to change it. So what we're going to do is just go forward with our new name and have a new password. And we'll have more than one person with the password so that we can all, well, so whomever needs access to make changes on the website or on the Ravelry page, etc., will be able to do that. So that's our next step. And also to always be enrolling new members. And a nice thing that happened is the library approached me, only because I have been the contact person for the library to make dates, to request dates for our meetings. The director asked me when I spoke with her in person if I could teach knitting, if any of us teach knitting, and most of us would be willing to do that. So she said she'd put me in contact with the adult education coordinator, which she did, and I was contacted by the adult coordinator as well as the teen coordinator, which is great because if we can get some young people into our guild, it would be fantastic. It'll make us more hip with what's going on in the knitting and crochet world. So I agreed to teach a class, so we settled up. We kind of finalized the plan for that. This morning we had a Zoom meeting, very interesting. And yeah, I'm going to be teaching beginners knitting. And guess what I'm going to teach? I bet you're already saying it. How to knit a cotton dishcloth. Is anyone surprised? Those dishcloths are just following me and haunting me. Well, anyway, when I thought about it, I thought cast on, knit, yarn overs, knit two togethers, bind off. I mean, there's a lot that you can learn in a dishcloth, and it doesn't take that long. I want to do the grandma's favorite, which is the one that starts off with just a few stitches and goes up to a triangle and then decreases. So I think it'll take us 2 lessons. I think that's going to be great. It's free. The library's going to be covering the cost of the needles and the yarn. I've done some printouts for the group, and the pattern's free, so I'll print that and bring that along. So I'm kind of excited about it. I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's very doable. It's not going to overwhelm the students. And if we break it up into 2 nights, we can do the half of the increases, and then the next week we'll do decreases to shorten it up and finish it. So I'm very excited about it. And just so you know, I found these knitting needles at Walmart. They're the Lion brand. You see that? Lion brand needles made of bamboo. They're very nice. I got US 7s. They're 10-inch. I know a lot of people aren't knitting with straight needles anymore, but I think for a learn to knit class, I rather have the straight needles than the circular, just because when people think of knitting, they think of 2 needles. They'll be able to adjust to circular afterwards. And those needles are very economical. And they're a good brand. I mean, they're Lion brand. They're $3.48 a pair. If you go to Michael's or to Joann's and get the clover, they're $9.99 or $10.99, I think. So this was really a value for these bamboo needles. And then, of course, the yarn, which I've been talking about since day one here, the peaches and cream and the variegated, they're $1.97 for a 2-ounce skein. And you still have, last week I showed you that heart, the Valentine heart dishcloth. That one's a little lighter, I guess you'd say. And this was the skein I couldn't find last week because my dog did have it. Oh, that Oliver. Well, he didn't wreck it, though. He's getting better. He's still, see, it's still a little tangled and got some thread caught up in it. But he's getting better because he doesn't chew stuff up anymore. He just steals it. So now we can call him Bandit rather than Terabyte. Anyway, he still steals things, but he's getting better. This is how much was left over from that heart that I had knit last week, which probably should still be around here. Yeah, because I showed it to the teacher coordinators this morning. So this was it. I didn't weigh it. But it's good for a dishcloth, and there's that much left. You could easily do 2. I think you can get 2. I wasn't sure if it's a big one, like if it's a 10-inch one, no. But I think these 8-inch square dishcloths, I think you can get 2 out of this. So the students will be happy. It's free to them, and they can learn the technique. And then from there, well, once you can knit and purl, there's not a lot else. There aren't a lot of other stitches. There are other little techniques that you can learn along the way. And that will happen. Some of the other members have volunteered to do some classes, so that's going to get into motion next. I guess that's it for now. It's Friday afternoon. I still got a lot of quilting. I want to finish all the duplicate replacement squares so that I can stop putting that thing back together, because I'm kind of going backwards. Instead of making the quilts I want to make, I'm taking them apart. But I'm going to be happier about it. I'm very happy that I've done this. So thanks for tuning in. I wish you all a wonderful weekend and a good week for next week, and we'll see you sometime next week. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye now.